you're invited. What?
Go on.
It's a surprise. Bill's 80th birthday celebration, March 15th, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Polo's Bar and Grill. Oh, wow!
Hey, Papa.
All right, so dinner is ready. Kids, if you could lead us in prayer.
Okay. These are gifts God received from thy bounty, through Christ our Lord. Amen. Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the ground.
If everyone could get a glass, I would like to raise a toast. I'm actually going to raise a toast to Beth Ann. We kind of flew in from all over, but Beth Ann is the one who was the driving force behind all of this, and all of this. The order that we see here today is because of Beth Ann.
Went out to visit them, and they just took me in, and he took me on campus, and we even went to some bar or something at night where there's some party, and he's like trying to push me out there, go meet some girl, you know? Like, who is this guy? And it was really funny. I've just enjoyed, especially as an adult, just relating to Uncle Bill, and I just love you, appreciate your love for me throughout life, and Dad would be proud of what you've done, so thank you. Yeah.
I just want to say, and it's going to make me emotional, but when I married into this family, you were a big part of it. I married into this family because I wanted to, because of you and Joe and all of your kids, and now grandkids, and everybody that's here. It had such a special place in my heart. You all, just who you are and what you did and how you embodied everything and made me feel comfortable.
You know, you taught me a lot of things. Hopefully I'm living up to some of those things. Not perfect, but I'm trying. You're the man I wanted to be. You know, you inspired me as a coach. To coach little, I coached lacrosse, football. You know, so I learned that from you. So thank you.
He taught me the basics, and he let me shoot around and stuff. And then 4 years later, our team made it to the championship game, and I was in it. And I just remember thinking to myself, I wouldn't be in this game if it wasn't for him.
Me, Jason, I think Brielle were going to the lake, my brother and sister, and we blew a whole engine, and we were stuck in the middle of nowhere in New York. And then Pop-Up came to pick us up in his BMW. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have made it. And he gave us, my dad, the new car, so we're doing well. Thank you, Pop.
When Brian and I were dating, Bill had the chance to go to the University of Eau Claire to do a speech. He's like, oh, it's in Wisconsin, it must be close, I want to meet your parents. And this is like the winter before we were getting married, and I was like, no, I think we should just let them meet at our wedding when they have no way to back out. It's all right, you know? But he's adamant. He made it work. It's not close. Eau Claire and Rhinelander are still 3 hours away. And upstate New York has fine wine. And he brought a beautiful, expensive bottle of wine all the way from New York to Wisconsin, drove it from Eau Claire to Rhinelander to get to my parents' house. Bill and Beth go, we brought you a nice bottle of wine. Where are your wine glasses? And I think they opened it. They said, oh, I mean, wine, are there special glasses for wine? And my mom proceeds to open the cupboard, and she's like, I think they're smaller than beer glasses. So she pulls out like those mini paper Dixie cups that you like put your mouthwash in. So that was the time I knew that family is family. And my parents now have wine glasses. But Bill and Beth probably drank a $100 bottle of wine with my parents out of paper Dixie cups. And they still let us get married, so it's all worth it. So thank you for
Even though we're your great nephews, it still feels like we're your grandchildren, and it's so fun coming up to the lake every year to spend time with you guys.
Bill was really a sounding board as we were trying to help him. And I can remember one time, I don't even know what it was, but I was crying in a parking lot in Ocean City because something had to happen. And he's like so far away, and in his calm way, he just talked me through how it was. And after my father died, I found this letter, and I would just like to read it because Bill is eloquent, and he just pinpointed all the good things. I was particularly touched that during the military salute at the cemetery, I was given the flag that draped his coffin. I will cherish this gesture and the flag. I look forward to participating in the forthcoming celebration of his life, Bill. And I think that just embodies that relationship.
Half of my father would be the half that would want to sit in the corner and not, and let everybody else do this, but then the other half would be the things that my father would want to make sure were said. And the first is that it was never Bill. It was always Bill and Beth. And when we were growing up, it was never just Bill. I mean, it was a compound word, right? It all because not only were they at everything together, but when they were at our house, they were together, right? And they showed us so much of what that means to be married and to be faithful and loyal. And my parents had the same piece of it, and we were so lucky to be exposed to that when we were kids growing up. The other part too was that Bill was like the cool uncle because he was so much younger. We were allowed to call him Bill. I don't know how many people call you cool, but you grandkids are so lucky that you've got Papa, which is the nucleus. But he's been that his whole life. Michelle and Stephanie, my other Uncle Tom, who was their brother, he passed away young, and it was always our Uncle Bill, that made sure that Tommy and Michelle and Stephanie and everybody were always involved, always pulling all this stuff together. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how crazy it is out there, what you got is right here, right? And your aunts and uncles and everything else. And that's a lesson that we were taught by our parents, but that was never said out loud because they lived it every single day. And that was the cool part about it. And that's the thing that I will forever be grateful that I have that, because I don't need somebody to tell me some other person that was some great American or some great human or some whatever because they were famous or they did this. Like, we were so lucky to have the example of what it's like to live your life the right way, put others first. When they're in trouble, you drop what you're doing and you go help them out, and then you come back and start up your life again like nothing ever happened. You just move on, because we all need help at some point, right? And so when you build that relationship between a unit like this, that's what it's all about.
I think my dad gives incredible advice. Growing up, all of us children came up with terrible ideas, horrible decisions, and so we would always, kind of ask Dad for advice. So, when I'm kind of a rock star, it's not a big deal or anything, but when I was in 6th grade, I was in a band, and we wanted to come up with a name, so we thought Nipple Hair would be a great name for a band. So I ran to my dad. I said, Dad, I think we're going to call the band Nipple Hair. He's like, you know what? I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should come up with a different name. And so it started everything out. And, Dad and Mom, I cannot thank you enough for all the support you've given me and my family and we can't seem to live in one place for more than a couple of years because we're running from the law. But I feel so lucky for the example that you set as a couple to constantly be there for each other and for your children always. We feel so lucky to have you in our life. Thank you for visiting us all around the world, no matter where we live and what we're doing, and always supporting us and our children. I love you.
Thank you.
So I'm Uncle Bill's niece. My mom is Jamie, Marky and Pat's little sister. And so I just want to say thank you, Uncle Bill, for always being there. As everyone has echoed, you've been someone that has just always been there. From at the lake, making sure that we all had fun with our silly games and our Hertz paraphernalia prizes, like that. Over the years, that was just such a constant. We didn't need summer camp really because we had you. And I know everyone, all of your nieces and nephews and cousins, you know, third removed, would all agree with me on that sentiment. And then you've just been there as a constant. You know, I lost both of my parents a little bit too young, and I will never forget when you came up to me after Mom passed, and you said, "It's okay, we got you." And you know, that meant so much. And you really always have, and we've really always felt so surrounded with love from you and Aunt Beth, and just the great example that you've set as a family. And you know, it's just been great to have you there as a constant. And we love you.
You've always been my favorite brother. And our families have done a lot of things together over the years, and we're very fortunate to have a close family that you all are a part of. And we were fortunate enough just recently to have a very wonderful trip together to South Africa. Bill and Beth have always been a big presence in our lives, Justin and all of yours. And from my heart, I am so appreciative of that. Thank you.
I mean, I expected dancers and fireworks. That's how much work I expected that she did if she started in November. But it didn't really live up to my hopes. But it's still a great party to celebrate someone who we all love.
First of all, thank you for all being here. This is, I don't often cry, but we're getting real close. And so thank you for all being here. And I know it wasn't easy from Alaska and all the way in Maine and Maryland. Thank you. And North Carolina. And the other thing I want to say is about Beth, I did the math. I'm pretty good at that. And I figured out that 65 of my 80 years have been with her. We fought for ourselves. And that was I fell in love with her. I'm still in love with her. And it's the best thing that can ever happen, and I love you. To my kids, I am really proud of my sons, all of them who have, and Brian and Andy, who have given service in the military, multiple deployments, and for our son Matt, who's been firefighting and saving our forests. They've really given to our country. And for Beth Ann, what a wonderful job you've done. It is so thrilling to be here and to enjoy all of this from you. I want to thank my family for coming up here, the Tom's family, and Joe's family. It really is important that you're being here and being here. It really matters. And for Matt and Nico, I'm sorry, you went away there because you just you have to accept the fact that you just love you so much. And I really just I can't say enough about how thoughtful it is for all of you to be here. And Matthew, that's the shortest speech I've ever given. And thank you very much.
Story with you. That I had the privilege of traveling with my parents to Wisconsin. Now here's where the fun begins. So now we fly in. We're running a little late. So my mom's booking down the terminals. We're having to get to the other plane. Here's my dad hobbling along with his cane, and unfortunately he decided to take a dive. So finally, here's my dad, tough guy that he is. I'm fine. All right. My mom's down the hall. Come.
There was a time in Dad's life where he was going through quite a bit of back pain, the sciatic nerve pain in his back, and was taking medication to relieve muscle relaxants to relieve medication. Well, he had gotten either a new prescription or a heightened, elevated prescription, and then bought a keg for the party, which now, as someone with kids nearing the age where they would be graduating high school, like getting a keg for, like being the adult and getting a keg for a high school party, it didn't seem questionable at the time, but at some point during the party, Dad's on the couch. He's like, man, he's a funny pillow cover. Well, it turns out he had mixed alcohol and drugs. Right? At some point, his liver shut down. And not to be a party pooper, we just called the EMT from next door to come, like, he'll probably be fine. Party went on. Show went on.
So Beth and Bill came out to McCall, Idaho to come visit with us. And McCall's up in the mountain town, so he's flying to Boise. It's like a 2-hour drive up the Wyoming County Road. We're trying to figure out when they were going to arrive. We're like, oh, they usually get going and they'll probably be here around noon. So they call us around noon. They're like, oh, there's still a few errands to run, and then we're going to come up. And we're like, what are you doing in Boise? Okay, great. And they come up and when we come to find out that Bill was actually in urgent care down in Boise in the morning because he had a festering abscess that he had neglected for a while. And fortunately got treated down there, but they were not going to tell us necessarily. I was like, I just don't feel, I'm like, you have a fever. And I'm a veterinarian, but I'm a medical person. I was like, can I see that? And I was like, oh, that's very red. I'm like, oh, he's like, no, it's fine. I don't want to make it this Christmas time. He's like, I don't want to inconvenience you. I'm like, okay, so we're watching it. I'm like, this is getting bigger. You are not getting better. No, I'm fine. I have to make your appointment at our clinic and you're going to have that checked out. I don't want to inconvenience anyone. It's Christmas. I'm like, what's going to be inconvenient is if you're in the hospital with sepsis.
That's
But then also, the wonderful father-in-law that he is, instead of being like, oh my meddling mother-in-law, and everything, he let me take him to the doctor. Later, he let me take him to the ER when they're like, antibiotics. And he had a lovely time in the ER when he got IV antibiotics. I got him a burger from the cafeteria. And a small town and Christmas was great. Not inconvenience anybody.
That I will say was that I remember when I was at my father's when my father told me, he was like, oh yeah, Bill had a really bad accident, he broke a rib and everything else, and what happened? He said, well, he fell down the stairs to the attic. And I said, Was he drinking? And because when Bill would come and visit my father, they had a pretty good time together. And the thing was that my father wasn't like, no. He was like, not sure. Could have been, who knows? And, you know, so I don't know what time of day it was, but everything else, but you know, so that when you hear these stories too, like Bill, my father, all these people, extraordinary human beings, but all human beings. Good days, bad days, good stuff, make mistakes and everything else, but there's always today and then there's always tomorrow. So thanks, Bill. Good luck tomorrow.